Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do something super easy and really fresh with drugstore makeup. It's been a while since I've done like a full face using drugstore makeup. I've tried out some affordable things recently, and so this is like a mixture between some of the newer affordable things that I've tried and also throwing it back to some of my all-time favorites. I'm just really wanting to share with you guys a nice little everyday affordable routine, so I hope you guys are excited. I actually got a haircut yesterday and it is shorter than it's been in a long time, but I'm actually really excited about it because I never wear my hair down, you guys probably know, partially because it was so long that it took so long for me to style. So I'll have to like come up with new ways to style my shorter hair, but I also just wear my hair up so often that I felt like it was a little bit much for me to have such long hair that was just always being put up in a bun, you know? So to start, I'm gonna be using the NYX Plump Right Back Primer. This is a very new primer to me, but I really liked it when I tried it out, so I wanted to use it again on camera. I'm just gonna apply this all over with my fingers. This is supposed to be like a serum-based primer, so it's supposed to really hydrate and plump the skin, which for every day I think is perfect. I was going through my foundation drawer and I came across one of my all-time favorite products. It has just been so long since I've used this. The Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Tinted Moisturizer from Colourpop. I love this stuff. I use the shade 4N, so this is what I wanted to use, especially for a chill, fresh, everyday look. I feel like a tinted moisturizer is a great option for looks like this, and this is definitely one of my all-time favorite tinted moisturizers, and it just so happens to be affordable. So I'm gonna layer this right on top, and it's just basically gonna cancel out redness, but it still allows my skin to shine through, which I really love. It's also one of those tinted moisturizers that actually wears well for a long time, you know, because I feel like sometimes tinted moisturizers don't have the best longevity, but for some reason this one really does for me. So I get the best of both worlds, you know? I get something that's gonna make my skin look and feel really fresh, but also if I do have a long day ahead of me, this product wears really well, which is always a plus. So I'm just gonna press that down into the skin. Now I've never used it on top of the NYX primer, so the combo is new to me, but I will say it's going on top of it really nicely. I feel like this primer has a little bit of a smoothing element to it, but it sinks into the skin. It's a really interesting texture. It's much more of like a gel base compared to, say, the NYX Marshmallow Whip Primer, if you've ever tried that one. That one almost stays more on top of the skin and really smooths. This one smooths but feels like it really absorbs. It's so unique and different, but it looks great underneath this tinted moisturizer. Sticking to the Pretty Fresh theme, I'm going to take my Colourpop Pretty Fresh Concealer. I'm going to use the shade Fair 10N. And I'm just going to do a little brightening underneath the eyes. And I'm just gonna press that in with my sponge. This is quite a bit of a brighter shade than what I thought it would be, but that's fine. I have a couple of shades, so sometimes I forget which one I use more than the other. I actually like it though. I feel like it works really well once I blend it out. I'm gonna take a slightly deeper shade. This is Fair 20N, and I do have a little bit of discoloration on my nose and a couple of blemishes that I just wanna conceal a little bit more, so I'm going to blend that out with the same sponge. Okay, I love how everything is looking. I actually wanted to dip into a liquid bronzer that I just barely tried, even though it's been around for a while. This is the Flower Beauty Heatwave Bronzing Essence. I created some content for Flower Beauty last week, and I used this product and I had never used it before, and I was like shocked at how amazing it is. It shears out really well. It looks a little deep for me upon, you know, application, but it shears out and it just kind of warms the skin. There's a little bit of luminosity in here as well. So for every day, it just kind of slightly tints and warms up the skin. So I'll show you how it looks, obviously. Let me grab the brush I used. I just used a more fluffy kind of foundation brush, and I took it on the back of my hand first. And you can see, like, it looks a little intimidating for me anyway, because it's a lot warmer than what I normally go for. I feel like that's why I never really reached for it, because it just didn't look like it was a tone or undertone that I reach for a lot. A little bit goes a long way. I probably put a little too much on the back of my hand, but let me just blend this out all over, just in the areas where I apply bronzer typically. And hopefully you can start to see how beautiful this looks. I'm gonna make sure to blend some down the neck as well. And then before it dries down completely, I'm gonna take the foundation brush that we used and just go over the edges. And then I'm going to take my sponge and make sure it's extra blended using this. I just loved how this looked. It's so sheer and looks so natural on the skin. Like once it's blended out, you can hardly even tell that there's any product at all. It just tints and warms the skin, which I think is so nice for every day. So I just wanted to show this to you guys because it's something that has been around for a while, but something that I've never really tried. I think maybe I've tried it once, but never really gave it a fair shot. And now that I have, I think it's so pretty. This is looking so pretty. It's so interesting. I don't know if it's the primer or what, but it almost feels like I don't even need to set my face, but out of habit, I'm going to. I'm just gonna use a little powder though. It's the RCMA Original No Color Powder. This is such an affordable powder. Something that I didn't discover, well, I had known about it for years, but I had never tried it until last year. So I'm just gonna start to press this in the T-zone. When it comes to an everyday look, I do like to still set with powder because that's what really ensures longevity. If I'm gonna take the time to do my makeup in the morning, it better last as long as possible, and powder for me is essential for that. I'm gonna take a slightly fluffier brush with just a little bit of powder and start to set the outside of the face as well. Just lightly with a little bit. So really you could leave the bronzer as is. I did grab my Revlon Skin Lights Bronzing Prismatic Bronzer. That's what it's called. It's the Sunlit Glow shade. I grabbed this because it does have a little bit of glow to it as well, and I thought it'd be really pretty to layer a bit of this on top of that bronzing essence just for a boost of that kind of glowy bronze vibe, I guess, all over the face. Just a little bit, just to kind of set that cream a little better and add a little more glow to the edges of my face. Okay, I'm gonna fill in my brows. I cannot find my Milani brow pencil anywhere. I'm in the middle of organizing a few things, and so I'm sure it'll turn up somewhere, so pretend I'm using my Milani brow pencil. I'm just gonna use my Benefit one though. Okay, I can't get over how good my base looks. If you guys have the Plump It Right Back serum, try it out with the Pretty Fresh Tinted Moisturizer and tell me if it's as flawless as I'm feeling like it is. It's so pretty. When I was trying to choose an eyeshadow palette, I saw this again and I was like, I need to use this. It's the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe Divine Neutrals palette. This is a great everyday palette. So I'm gonna dip into Just Barely, which is the second deepest matte shade in the palette. And I'm just gonna start creating a little bit of dimension in the crease. I'm also gonna take a little bit of that same shade on the same brush. I'm just gonna pinch the brush and go underneath the lower lash line. We're keeping it so simple today. I'm actually gonna take the shade Luxe, which is like the light, kind of pinky champagne color in the palette. I'm gonna take that on my fingertip and I'm gonna apply this all over the eyelid. When it comes to an easy everyday look, I feel like just using 2 eyeshadows is such an effortless way to look and feel pulled together. And something that I kind of think about when it comes to a more subtle eye look is just to choose 2 eyeshadow colors that are kind of similar to your skin tone. So the one that I put in my crease is just a little bit deeper than my natural skin tone, and this shimmer shade blends in really well as well. So that'll just make it blend even easier and it will look more natural. To think about your personal tone and undertone and try to kind of take inspiration from that for your 2 eyeshadow shades. That's literally all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take my favorite everyday mascara. It's the Maybelline Lash Sensational. And I'm just gonna apply that to the top and bottom lashes. I feel like normally I do shimmer on the lower lash line, but I'm gonna skip it today and just keep the shimmery shadow on the top lid. You could totally take a little shimmer along the lower lash line if you like that. There's no rules, it would be up to you. I love lower lash mascara too, so I personally apply it on both the top and bottom lashes, but I know a lot of people, when it comes to everyday makeup, they'll just do a little on the top. So again, just, you know, whatever works for you. So I actually found the Found blush in my drawers. I've wanted to try more from this brand, but just never have got around to it. This is one of the only products that I own from them. This is their Baked Illuminating Blush. It's so pretty. It's got a gorgeous peachy undertone. This is in the shade 06 Peach Glow. I'm just gonna smile and apply this to the apples of the cheeks. And you'll see like it gives a really nice luminosity, but also a hint of color, which is great. You can be a little more heavy-handed, I feel like, with this shade. And it's not gonna be too over the top or too intense, which I really like for every day. Well, I do like a good blush moment every once in a while, but this is even easier to work with. I actually had a highlight planned out, but I don't think I need a highlighter anymore. Now that I'm seeing like my luminous bronzer and blush, I feel like I can totally skip highlight, which is even better for saving time. I'm gonna go ahead and press that into the skin with my sponge. Look how glowy it is. That made my skin look so healthy. Okay, I'm wiping off any foundation that got on the lips. I do love to have a little bit of definition on my lips. I'm gonna take my NYX lip pencil in the shade Peekaboo Neutral, which is such a pretty pink shade. I'm gonna line and fill in the lips with this. And then I'm gonna take one of my new favorite drugstore lip products, the L'Oreal Balm and Gloss, I think this is called, in the shade Blissful Blush. It's such a nice kind of glossy, balmy formula. It adds a hint of color, a hint of shine, but feels really hydrating, and it like, I don't know, it just feels really comfortable on the lips, which again, is great for every day. I love that combo together. I do want to match the eyeshadow a little bit. This is one of my favorite tricks. I've done this so many times. I'm going to take the Found blush, and I'm going to throw a little bit of that into the crease, just for a hint of warmth. All right, I'm going to assess the situation. I really like where things are at. Everything is a little softer, but a little glowier. I feel like I normally do more blush than this, or a more intense blush than this, but I do think it's nice to kind of do something a little pulled back for every day, especially if you're in a rush. And then that way, you know, if you have to wear it for a lot of hours, it will fade a little easier when there's just tones that mimic your natural skin as much as possible. If it starts to fade, it won't look as obvious. All right, I'm gonna set the face with one of my favorite drugstore setting sprays right now. It's the Neutrogena Hydrating Setting Spray. It's so good. I'm just gonna spritz this all over and then press everything in with my sponge. I like to take my powder brush after setting spray and just lock in my T-zone one more time. And then all we need to do is brow gel, which my Milani brow gel is wherever my brow pencil is. So when I find one, I'll find the other. So you can use whatever your favorite clear brow gel is if you're following along. This is just my personal favorite, the Benefit 24 Hour. I feel so cute in this makeup. We just take my hair down. So there you have it. There's a super easy everyday drugstore makeup look. This is something that I would wear and feel so comfortable and beautiful in on a daily basis. And I feel like I really love the base especially. I don't know what kind of sorcery this was, but these two are magical together. So if you have either of these, try them out. I have only used this a couple of other times, but it was with new foundations. So to bring back something that I know I love and mix it with something new was so fun to see how gorgeous it looked on the skin. I'm definitely gonna be leaving these two on my desk so I can have a new go-to for every day. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I love reaching back into my drugstore collection. Let me know if you'd like to see a more glamorous drugstore look in the future. I know there's a lot of new drugstore products launching or set to launch in the next couple of months, which is always so exciting. This was so fun for me, and I was reminded yet again how flawless and amazing drugstore makeup really is. You've got to find the right products, of course. I mean, it's the same for drugstore and high-end. There's good and bad in every category. But wow, I am very impressed with this look, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I do. If you're new here, hi, my name is Allie, and I would love for you to join the family. You can do so by hitting the subscribe button, and if you're already a subscriber, you want to be notified on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Click on the bell after you subscribe, and you'll get a notification every single time I post. That's it for me today. Let me know in the comments what your favorite drugstore makeup is right now. I'd love to hear from you. I hope you guys have an amazing day wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Love you. Bye.